Welcome to Host Ghost Stories. I am your host, LD Pteloma. Today, I am sharing a story from Reddit. Um, the name is One Man on a Mission. I got permission to read the story. It is a little bit longer than our usual ones. So, normally on this podcast, you tell us, okay, do you think this story is true or false? But on this particular story, let's keep an open mind, be respectful. Okay, so let me get started. I was around 23 years of age, and I was on a trip to Pakistan. I have a lot of extended family there, and there have been multiple times, so I'm familiar with the land, laws, and cultures and language, etc. I was in fact born there but raised in the UK from 3 months old. My maternal aunt was the youngest of all her siblings. She was only 3 years older than me, so she wasn't an aunt, she was more like a cousin or a friend. I remember being my birthday, she had no idea what I liked. Being a British lad, she asked someone and they told her about Tupac. So she went with her friend on a 2-hour bus ride each way to the nearest city to find me a Tupac album. I will never forget her birthday. Before I move further in the story, I just want to elaborate that the aunt, was not mentally unwell. She wasn't suffering from delusions or hallucinating. The person telling the story was able to see what was going through with their own eyes and felt it. Well, we'll get to more of that story, but I just want to, again, just elaborate on she was a brilliant person, fun, kind, and beautiful, and she was just so beautiful, man, and she's very loved and definitely missed. So to kind of go back into the story, anyways, this aunt of mine, she was suffering from ill health, which was a recent phenomenon. She would get bouts of really bad health, her being paralyzed, etc., crying a lot, but generally a disturbed person. Then she would have periods where she was completely fine. Other relatives, friends shared their theories with me where she was being harassed by something evil, something paranormal, a jinn. Apparently, it happened after her wedding day. She was wearing red and crossed the stream where something latched onto her. My main home was on my father's side, which was a different village an hour away from my aunt's house. I remember one cold, dark evening we got a phone call saying she was really bad. So I kicked the motorbike and was ready to go. I wanted to see with my own eyes what was happening to her. You know, being raised in the UK, I was thinking there must be a medical reason for this. Maybe I can witness it, Google it, etc., or shed some light on her condition. Which makes sense. I mean, I think we've all been there, you know? Everyone was saying, don't go. The roads are not safe at night, especially not through the forest. I would have to travel post-sundown. I put my own feelings aside and rode off at speed. I got there pretty quick, and I'm not going to lie, them woods are weird and eerie at night. Tell me about it. So I got to her house, and she was tossing and turning in her bed, shouting and screaming, saying, "It burns! It burns!" and then falling unconscious. I didn't see anything, couldn't figure it out. I just thought maybe she was having a fever and she was delirious. I decided I'm going to stay with her for a few days to keep her company. So, a couple days later, she was completely fine. It was late at night, and we were in the bedroom, just a large room, one door, 4 bed placed next to each other, side by side. So 4 beds side by side. On the two beds furthest away from the door were her children. They were only small, 3 of them, all ages from 1 to 5. All of them fast asleep. She was on the second bed facing me towards the entrance of the room. I was on the first bed facing her, with my back to the entrance of the room. We were just having a little chit chat, and then it happens. She just let out a blood-curdling scream, like she had seen something in the room behind me. You could tell from the pitch of the scream that this wasn't a snake or a scorpion she had seen. This is something sinister, dark, evil, and paranormal. I could just tell from the scream. I'm not gonna lie, I was too afraid at first to turn around. I was frozen for a second, too scared to get out of the bed and turn around. But then I seen some small children. Somehow they didn't wake up by her mom screaming. And in that moment I said to myself, whatever it is, I'm the last line of defense for them small children. So I turned around, but I drummed myself up with anger and courage to fight whatever happens. I'm just gonna give it a damn good fight, like war drums. This was the only way I could get to fight the courage around. Whew. And that's when I saw it. A humanoid figure, very faint, made out of smoke like cigarette smoke. I was shocked, but I was in fight mode. I got up to fight, not knowing how to fight this thing, and it grabbed me by the throat and I squeezed. So much that had tone of the shouting changed. I was petrified, but for a second, but then the kids. F this. I'm not letting it get to the kids. I was in a rage and I wasn't scared. And it lost its power. Honestly, the less scared I was, the less strength it had. But then in a split second, it disappeared. I comforted my aunt. I asked her what that was. She said it appeared to her in the image of one of her uncles. But when she realized it couldn't have been him because he lives in a city miles away, the door was locked and she started screaming. When I turned around, it must have changed to its natural form, a jinn, a being made of smokeless fire. A minute later, the neighbors heard the screamings and turned up, and let's just say I didn't sleep after that. My auntie passed away a few years after this incident. I will always remember her and this incident. It's not my only paranormal incident, but it was the scariest. Them kids are now adults, grown up, and I feel a sense of responsibility towards them. I miss my friend, my cousin, and my aunt. May Allah grant her in the highest heaven. Wow. That is terrifying. I had an incident where I don't really talk about it, to be honest with you. Long story short, if you watch the show, then you've probably heard me talk about it maybe once or twice. But I had an incident where I was streaming and I went to go rebuke it and push it, and I could feel this thing's skin. It was like skin on bones, and it's absolutely terrifying. It's terrifying when anything touches you, because you're like, nothing's supposed to touch me, and I can feel it, or it moves me in a way that's I'm not it's just uncontrollable or uncomfortable in any way. So that is terrifying. But I'm so glad that y'all listened to this story, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell us what you think. Usually we do this as do you think the story is true or false? But I don't think it gives any justice to do this on this story. But yeah, if you've had a similar experience, just let us know and we'll read your story. It's funny because I tried to read this last night. You see how it's like day outside. It's the first of September. And see, my eyes are just burning right now. But I tried to read the story last night, and it took all the sound off of my stuff. So I'm like, that was weird. And it was just like uh, around 3 or 4 a.m. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to wait till daytime now. But, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the story. And don't forget to check us out next week for some more stories. Thank you, and blessed be.